We are very fortunate to have them this afternoon to share what they have when it comes to leadership. So our first speaker for this afternoon is an aspiring educator who is also committed and passionate for community service and volunteer work. He is currently in his senior year, specializing social studies in the program Bachelor of Secondary Education in Negros Oriental State University. The former president of Gaba-an Youth Lead, as well as the head of Gaba-an Youth Lead's Creative Development Team. To speak about ideas for continuing leadership amidst pandemic, help me in welcoming Gaba-an Youth Lead Organization, Mr. Serg Jhun, Calibat.
And to talk about Mind Lecture, Inspiring the Aspiring, let me introduce it to you. Our speaker is currently the ICT manager of the Silliman University Library and awarded as one of Silliman University's most outstanding employee of 2016. Appointed the Provincial Youth Development Officer of Negros Oriental, the advisor of the Negros Oriental League of Student Governments, or the LSG. He has worked with the United Nations and has attended several major youth congresses in the Philippines. He is the founder of several organizations and events, such as founder of the 28-year-old Interminably Undefiable Fraternity, a founder of Silliman Founders Week's Hibalag Booth Festival, a founder of New Ground Events. He is also a founder of the Department of Education's Nation of Heroes Youth Formation, and founder of the Gaba-an Youth League. The man to first bring to Negros Oriental artists such as Flip Top Ribotal King Sinyo, South Border, Greyhounds, Kizzy Tandingan, Dominic Rocky, Jed Madela, Richard Yap, Christian Bautista, Jericho Rosales, Bambo, River Maya, and Parokya ni Edgar. He is happily married to Janice and they have 2 kids, Psyche and Ayana. The Caballero family is one of only 9 families in the Philippines awarded the 7th Family Values Award. He is an author, an events organizer, community worker, facilitator, youth animator, speaker, awarded the 2012 Parangal ng mga Bayani as Youth Champion of the Province of Negros Oriental. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all give a virtual clap to Kuya Dennis Caballero.
Good afternoon. Set up ko lang muna. Good afternoon, everyone. I am again Kuya Dennis Caballero, and with me is
I am Serg Calibat.
We will be talking to you about 2 topics this afternoon, as mentioned already. Thank you for the Division of Sagay City for having us both. I myself miss Sagay so much. We've been to Sagay several times in handling activities for the youth formation. And it's such an honor, and of course, this is such an exciting afternoon for all of us as we'll be talking about 2 topics. So I'll have Serg first talk about this topic, and I'll return in a while. Let's go, Serg.
Thank you for that, Kuya Dennis. So I'll be now taking the floor, and we'll be talking about ideas for continuing leadership amidst the pandemic. So allow me to begin by saying that leadership amidst crisis could be daunting. Nobody knows what path should we go on and to which path would be the right thing for. There are no easy solutions to be offered. But then we ask ourselves as leaders of our own, how do we move forward and how can we lead if we can't predict what will happen tomorrow? So again, magandang araw. Ako nga po pala si Serg Jhun, Calibat, a 5th batch facilitator of the gaba-an Youth League and a senior student of Negros Oriental State University, Main Campus 1. Truly, it is a dangerous time for all the youth throughout the world, and as expected and identified by the United Nations, 1.52 billion students are out of school and has been out of the university since the advent of the pandemic. And with that, naaapektuhan lahat ng mga bagay-bagay tungkol sa paglaki, sa development, emotional, physical, and cognitive growth of every youth throughout the world. And for this one, we ask ourselves, why do we keep propelling and why do we keep moving forward as leaders despite this crisis? There will be two challenges I will be presenting, and these challenges will also answer as to why we keep propelling and moving forward as leaders of our own. So the first one here is the upheaval. So upheaval pertains to the sudden disruption. Kung sa Tagalog pa lang, ay ito yung kaguluhang nagaganap. And the kaguluhan that we are currently facing is the pandemic. The challenge that we are currently facing is the pandemic. And in times of upheaval, leaders like ourselves and like those of you are challenged because our participants and our followers are in fear and they are looking for leaders whom they can trust and leaders whom they can give their confidence and work with. So according to Charles Darwin, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. So uncertainty therefore requires leaders to adapt quickly to a rapid changing situation. And I will be presenting here 4 points as expressed by the leadership expert Amy C. Edmondson, a PhD of leadership, and she provided clear advices as to transformative leadership during times of crisis. So the first one will be being transparent. So being transparent does not only mean that you have to be honest, it also means that you have to grow as a person, that as a leader, you admit that what you know and what you do not know. So this will create a psychological effect into people that they will be able to trust you. So that will be the first point as a leader for you to become a leader in a crisis. So be transparent. And second one is to act with urgency, that despite incomplete information, ang mabilis na aksyon ang nagbibigay ng maraming aksyon. So if you are fast in your action, then therefore you are giving more action towards the people whom you are servicing to. So inaction leaves people feeling lost and unstable. And the third one is to follow your values. Hold purpose and values, for this will become your steady guides and your guiding light for your life. So and last will be to share power to your colleagues in your organization, for this will provide, in turn, people a sense of meaning. So do not centralize power, do not control power on your own, cascade it, disseminate power. You cannot do anything alone because things might not be that productive if you might work alone. So those are the 4 guides as to how to become a transformative leader during times of crisis. And in gaba-an Youth League, we have youth development strategies programs we have done throughout our lifespan as an organization. So these are values formation, youth formation, peer counseling, camps, summits. And another things are outreach programs, trainings, team enhancement or team building activities, community work and outreach, and adopt a community program. So these are programs we have usually done prior to the pandemic. But we have adapted and have strategized our programs to be internet friendly and of course to adapt to the new normal. And so another challenge as to address how we leaders move in times of crisis will be the community setting. This is another prime challenge because of the new normal that we are currently facing. So since the new normal, there are pros and cons of online distance learning. And we begin with the pros or the advantages of the online learning activities. So the first one, of course, when we participate in learning activities online, there will be no risk of infection, which is a good thing because malalayo tayo doon sa mga malalayo yung ating makukuhang chances na magka-infect. Another thing is to be immersed to a modern day technology. Since online learning requires technology, then for that, we can be immersed and it magbibigay yun ng chance para malaman natin kung ano ang teknolohiya and the things that are modern today. Third one is that we could spend more time with our families. And fourth one, there will be no transport needs. You can save and you can provide with your own needs since everyone is at home. And those are the pros of online distance learning as I have observed and as we have observed in gaba-an youth league. We compare those with the disadvantages or the cons of online distance learning. First, the Philippines has been recorded to have as one of the most unstable internet connection throughout the world. Second is that mental health issues brought by isolation. Children has been stunted with their developmental in terms of psychology and in terms of cognitive rather, and in their well-being. Third one is that people do not have the gauge to have gadgets. Fourth is the scarce funding or assistance given by the government. Fifth, harmful blue light from screens. Sixth is the quality of learning is different. I can say that the quality of learning is different because sa na-experience ko din in physical classrooms, you are motivated when you see your classmates, when you have collaborative learning together with them. And for that, I think it's better to be back and move forward again to try and getting back to the normal process of education. And for the strategies that we have conceptualized and have been practicing in gaba-an youth, there are different forms of online trainings we have provided. So and advice to many people we have encountered in our communities and even in societies that we have conducted. So the first one is the web-based learning, which you will be learning through sites that will provide information. Another thing is video-based learning, as you have seen in YouTube or in TED-Ed animated informative videos. Another thing is the webinars and virtual classrooms. We already have this one, and custom e-learning where individually we can adapt. It is in our discretion to try to learn on our own ways. Another thing is collaborative learning where you talk with your classmates, collaborate with them online. Next one is mobile learning, which you can use your phones. And another thing is micro-learning where snippets or, divided or small phases of learning are happening. So these are different forms of online training we have advised our participants and those people that we have partnered to. But the challenges of online training are very, very apparent rather at these times, because challenge one will say that online trainings are boring. Of course, it will be boring because it would take time. It would take, leisure activities. It could be exchanged with leisure activities. Another challenge is technical difficulties. Third is that not many people know the program or the projects that exist. Not all of us are adept with Zoom, Google Meet, and MS Teams. Challenge 4, we do not have time for, some of us do not have time for online training because of being isolated or being positioned in hinterlands. Challenge 5 is the lack of actual human touch. Of course, this is the mother of all the senses, so therefore, actual human touch is different than without touch. 6 is that the lack of practice or application. Mediocre is mediocre. Mediocre is being mediocre when we are satisfied with what is happening. So some of us might be propelled to cheat because the situation permits. Challenge 8, online trainings does not have impact, or maybe online trainings have minimal impacts unlike actual trainings. And the 9th challenge is that computer illiteracy. Not all of us are illiterate and again are adept with technology. And lastly, we have found out that the challenge 10 is that no gadget, and of course the Philippines again has had one of the most unstable connectivity throughout the world. And in online trainings, we have to always remember that participants will always escape in oblivion. That is why we are very lucky that our partners here in Sagay Deped Division have been informing their participants that what will be gonna be happening for this afternoon. And I guess there are a lot of you who are viewing right now in Facebook, and we should always mind this because this will keep the attention of people, and this will also propel them to learn more and garner more knowledge in this time of the world. So suggested strategies that we have offered for a lot of leaders since the pandemic is that to provide shorter program than any face-to-face program. So just like this one, although it is not in our idea that Sagay City Division would give us the duration of 30 minutes, but I guess they have learned the problem of webinars this time. So I think they've got this one. Another thing is to provide online gimmicks because this is a must now. So I guess, and as you can see, they have also adapted online gimmicks, just like they have provided videos, entertainment for everybody, singing. You have to entertain your viewers also. And engagement is necessary every 5 minutes. For this one, I think I will be exempted since I have I have devised this discussion to be a lecture type 1. But for the Sagay Deped Division, they are very quite adept for this one and have specialized engagement since they have provided videos and dances for our viewers. And another thing is that no more the pure talk now. The more that pure talk now is a no-no because again, our viewers might get bored and they might leave the discussion since it has been online. Lastly, online platform is not a hindrance to let participants do unique games and activities. As students might have known, there are a lot of online platforms that would give entertainments during classes also, and it could be used in online trainings just like Kahoot and again, TED videos. So adapted from the 5 elements of learner experience with EdTech, there are 4 points to be followed, or should we say we will also be suggesting. So first one is the desirability of the experience. So is it fun and engaging in activity? Another thing is that to think about the usability of the devices that you are using. Is it easy to use? Is it the contents are the contents rather easy to use, and are the devices usable? Another thing is adaptability. Does it adapt to learners? We have to also consider this one. And lastly, the comfortability. Are our viewers comfortable with the platform? And lastly, rather, is the value. Does it meet learning formation needs? Leadership in times of pandemic, again, could be daunting. And according to Miriam Santiago, leadership is not about your personality. It is not about how you look. It is not about how tall you are. Leadership is about our behavior, our consistency as leaders. Ano ang nagawa natin during the pandemic? Because leaders are not bored. It takes practice to develop the qualities of a leader. According to Miriam Santiago, there are 4 points that a leader could survive in times of challenges. So the first one, a leader should have the quality of being of integrity. So integrity as the foundation of leadership, it pertains to honesty, being trustworthy, and consistency. Another thing, the second one will be the compassion to others, how you communicate with others and how you will serve them, especially those who are marginalized and are poor. Third one is our initiative. No, we do not wait for others to act. We begin by acting ourselves. And fourth, student leaders need to have vision and a sense of purpose to accomplish things. So all in all, mobilizing work at this time of pandemic requires collective or communal action. So you cannot move alone. And for that to be fueled, we need stories. We need good stories. Because again, for Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones, he believes that what unites, he asked the people? What unites people? Is it armies, gold, flags? It's stories. There's nothing more powerful than a good story. That would be all for my part. And once again, this has been Serg. Thank you for listening. I will be now giving the floor to Kuya Dennis Caballero, our founder in gaba-an Youth.
Thank you so much, Serg. I learned a lot in such a very short span of time with your talk. It's really about stories. I was wondering myself of what will be my talk this afternoon in such a short time, because in the pandemic times, there's the reality. How can we be inspiring the aspiring as young as our pupils, student government, and our SSG and SPG, and of course our advisors of the Sagay City Division. Now, I realized I'd rather talk about 3 points this afternoon in terms of how to inspire the aspiring. Right,
Kuya Dines, excuse po.
Yes po.
Bago po kayo magpatuloy, let me remind those who are watching via FB Live that they can pause their comments. If they have some questions about your topic, about your discussions, they can post in our comment box. Those who are watching us via FB Live, you can post your questions or clarifications about the topic presented in our comment box. Thank you po.
All right. Thank you so much po, sir, sa guidance sa ating mga nanonood. And even for those who will find this recorded live video at a later time during this year and up to the next year, you may also look at it in a different way where you may find meaning in terms of inspiring the aspiring. Kasi nga, kahit ako is also one aspiring person to become better, especially in this pandemic. So allow me then to tell you some stories with a framework of 3 winning stages in terms of image. Sabi ni Kuya Serg kanina, a leader is not about looks or probably in terms of his titles in his achievements. But now we will talk about the winning image of those who are inspired to inspire. Inspired to aspire as well. So one of these will be inspiring self, second will be inspiring others, then lastly it will be inspiring legacy. Inspiring self will be about personal growth, then we will move to professional growth, and lastly our inspiring legacy will be about career growth. Now, always remember that the winning game is the ability to inspire confidence in other people. I'll tell you later why I'm saying that. But we will go first to the inspiring self. Sino ba si Kuya Dennis when he grew up? In the inspiring self, it will be always about your personal growth. It does not necessarily start only when you are very young. Some of us just started now in our personal growth. Some other redefines the personal growth into a new one they're starting with in the stages of their life. So these some phrases would describe to all of you what are the components of the inspiring self. We have understanding our own characters, getting rid of your own limiting beliefs, knowing the truth, finding purpose, letting go of those we've been trapped for quite some time, and of course, the very much important one will be the powerful mindset. I did not believe about this before, but because paulit-ulit kasi ito nangyari sa akin when I was still in high school, I realized I need to change mindset and make it a one powerful one for our thinking in order for us to grow. So we see here in the screen mga barbecue. Bakit ko pinili ito na picture as I'm starting with my talk? Because po, Kuya Dennis, before siya naging Kuya Dennis, we were a sidewalk vendor. We sell to sino, we sell to sa sidewalks po ng Dumaguete. Yung father ko po is a graduate lang, up to grade 3 lang. My mother is up to high school. Nag-meet sila sa Dumaguete City, wala po silang pinag-aralan, sad to say that because of economic level. So, as a family, we started in the sidewalks. So, ganun po kahirap. I go home at 3 a.m. in the morning. This is one story we say is as powerful because I'm here now, standing in front of you. But when I was still there, I never thought it would be part of my personal growth. So doon po natin mahanap kung saan tayo nanggaling lahat. I've been to Sagay City, I've been to Colonia Divina, and I know the lives of people there. I could still remember even a few of those stories now. And I thank Sagay City and the Deped Sagay City for giving me that opportunity to go to Sagay and see those realities. I thank also our GL mentor, John RGL, for giving me that opportunity to see those realities and look back of what I've been through also in my life. And in every story I am going, in every place that I go, I see myself in the past and up of today. Dennis Caballero, when he was in high school, was unexposed. If nakikita niyo sa picture na dyan, sino yung naka-white? Ako po yun. So, may buhok pa by that time, di ba? Ngayon, wala na. So, ano nangyari? But the point here is I was so unexposed. I was also alone, literally. I go to the canteen alone. I did not have friends, not because I was not friendly, but because I decided to be really alone. Ganun po yung description sa akin ng aking mga friends when we go to reunions. I was also academically above average, proud to say that, but not outstanding at all. Did not perform, no awards, no exposures, and no leadership positions. Kaya nga sinabi ko sa sarili ko, now that I am here as Kuya Dennis, that if you will do it alone, don't bother doing it at all. If you will do it alone, don't bother doing it at all. Kung sa Filipino pa yan, kung gagawin mong mag-isa, wag na lang. Kasi na-realize ko, it was so lonely. It was so lonely to be one person doing everything. Yun po ang realization ko as I grew up. Now, we go to the second stage of inspiring others. Ito po yung crossroad. From the Kuya Dennis of the personal growth that I was alone, without achievements at all, I was even so afraid to be part of the Pambansang Awit or even lead the morning prayer or even recitations or even performances. Yun po ang extreme na ako when I was still in the inspiring self. I was inspiring myself. I was finding ways to go out of the box of myself. Then, later, when I reached college, nagsimula po yung inspiring others. Now, bakit kaya part ng inspiring others ang appearance, behavior, communication, and digital presence? I'll tell you about that later. Pero just remember this one. Coming from inspiring self, we go to inspiring others. Okay? Now, here's a picture of one of my organizations. This is my first organization that I founded. I'm very proud of it because it's already going 30 years. So imagine at what age did we start interminably undefinable. This is a story in itself. I'm proud to say that if this was made into an MMK episode, you would love it yourself and relate to how I started as a leader and how did I inspire people. And up to the point now that we have already chapters in Luzon, in Mindanao, across the Visayas, and it's very much alive here in Negros. Then became the student leader that I wanted to be when I reached college, but I was a late bloomer. I started extracurricular activities. Okay? From a Kuya Dennis in the sidewalk, who was so much without self-confidence, becoming the leader of Silliman, becoming the head of all the organizations of Silliman University, including fraternities, social civic, academic organizations, I was the one heading that. And proud to say, in 2002, I founded po one of the biggest festivals in Negros Oriental, which is Hibalag Boot Festival. This was my chance to realize that I need to start going out of my shell and become an inspiring person to others, making people be inspired. Yun lang po yun. Very simple, right? Very simple. You are the message mismo of what you are doing. I'm not saying it was a very good leadership, because even if I will give you a talk about that part, I wish somebody will invite me soon for a topic entitled How Kuya Dennis Failed as a Leader. It would be an exciting one because it was mostly about crying, and even kinulong ko yung sarili ko sa kwarto dahil I felt I was a tragedy as a leader when I started. Right? Then came a crossroad, another crossroad for me. My mother now is already with our Creator. My father is with our Creator as well. Bago lang po siya namatay. Today po, ang second death anniversary ng mother ko. But why is there a crying photo in the slides? Because I remember this moment when I was to graduate, my father na stroke. And remembering that one in college, that was still in 2004, when I was to graduate, and now both of them are not with me and leaving me behind with the leadership roles that I do and the family that I am also leading myself with 2 kids and yung asawa ko pong si Janice. It helps me to realize kung gaano kagaling din silang leader, kung gaano kagaling na leader yung parents ko. But looking back at this moment na na-stroke ng father ko, sobrang hirap po. We went down financially again. When we started at the sidewalk, dahil sa kagalingan ng aking parents, they gave me a very beautiful life. Kahit po sobrang hirap ng buhay namin, we made it financially. I'm proud to say that. I graduated without any scholarship at all, so meaning full tuition fee. But yet, since na-stroke si Papa, bumalik po kami financially down. This was that moment. But after 1 year, kilala niyo po ba sila sa picture? After 1 year was the bouncing back of Kuya Dennis. The night before my graduation, I gave myself a graduation gift of bringing to Dumaguete City, parokya ni Edgar, with a budget of 1 million. I was 21 years old by then. Imagine, bakit kinaya? Dahil po, not because I'm so magaling, but because I worked with the best student leaders of Dumaguete City, of Negros Oriental at such a young age. This was the time I realized that when you are inspiring the aspiring, you can really move mountains. Then, bonggang bawi nga. Kasi nga, di ba, ang daming problema sa bahay, sa pamilya. And then, when I graduated, straight from my graduation, I joined the United Nations, being one of the 7 people who handled the projects of millions of pesos in the Philippines at the age of 21. Then another crossroad. Si Kuya Dennis by then was already 22 years old, and I was already bored of the so many achievements in a span of 5 years or so. Diba? I started again, remember? I started as a loner. I started as so much as an achiever. Then biglang sobrang daming sunod-sunod ng achievements. Biglang sobrang daming leadership positions. I got bored. I got burned out at an early age. So now, let's focus at the last part. When we go to the last part, the impact of image then. Kuya Dennis, the impact of image. There are actually 4 truths about image. We need to realize this is very important when you are an inspiration or when you are a cornerstone of so many other leaders that are before you or behind you. Number 1 is the deceiving truth. The deceiving truth is about yung mga bagay-bagay na parang niloloko mo yan ang sarili na you thought you will always believe that it is true. Diba? Gaya noon, niloloko ko sarili ko na may buhok pa ako. Niloloko ko sarili ko na I'm still good looking. Niloloko ko ang sarili ko na I'm still young. Diba? But now, it doesn't affect me anymore. I've realized the deceiving truth is not needed anymore. When you become an inspiring person to an aspiring person, you need to accept those things that are deceiving you. Second, the biblical truths. The biblical truths are very much important because these are the righteous paths that we need to take. It's very difficult, but we need to accept the biblical truth. Third will be others' truth. People will tell you what is really true because they are the mirrors. They are the mirrors. And sadly, most oftentimes, they will tell you the hard truth, the painful truth. Now, always remind yourself, you have 7 seconds to make it memorable. Kaya kanina, when I was observing Kuya Serg talking to you, I was thinking, I did not know Kuya Serg. Will I have a good impression about him? I am very proud. I did give a very good impression about him. And looking at that will make you proud as one who mentored these persons, one who mentored this individual. So ganun po tayo always. When we look at ourselves, we should always think, are we presentable enough to others in order for you to be an inspiration? Diba? And lastly, truths based on research and studies. Yes. Hindi po pwedeng twisted truth. Kailangan po talaga based on numbers and based on studies. Kaya nga nag-aaral tayo. Kaya we need to always check about our image based on research and studies. Kaya nga, tinuro ni Serg kanina, what would be more engaging in terms of now that we're into the pandemic and we're using online learning. Kasi, and we decided talaga to be in a green screen because pag ako or si Serg nagsasalita, tapos hindi kami part ng green screen na to, you'll get bored more and you'll not be engaged because I'll be a small box, siguro dito na part, di ba? Ang small box na nandito. But because I am part and you're seeing me together in the screen, you're most likely engaged now seeing the light bulb in front of you na si Kuya Dennis. Diba? Alright. You are the walking, talking representation of your image. Alam niyo na pa ito. Matagal na po tinuturo ito sa ating mga teachers and advisors. When you become a leader, you yourself will be the walking, talking representation of your image. Kaya, by moving forward, image is always a choice. Kailangan po natin pag-aralan mabuti ang image natin off-cam, on-cam, in social media, while we are walking at the downtown, where we are with our communities and our friends, because gusto man natin maging inspirasyon. Paano tayo maging inspirasyon if we do not consider that image is an important part of that? Now, let me proceed now to my journey again. Because of that crossroad from the UNFPA experience, from the United Nations experience, I went home. I thought I will never be productive again. But because of that going home, it was destined to happen. Because I continued with what I was indeed destined to be a leader para sa mga kabataan. I founded newborn events, and these are some of our volunteers then. I got married at 2009 with a very beautiful family. I was hired by one of the top universities of the Philippines, Silliman University, and founded gaba-an. At the beginning, we never thought it would be a very successful endeavor and, of course, project. Because while we were still young, as an organization, one of our members died. Si Kuya James Brian. This is one beautiful story. You might be shocked why it becomes a beautiful story of death. If you want to know more, you can probably go to my page, go to my Facebook. There's an article there in the notes section. I could probably even share it to you if you want, just PM me. And you'll realize how beautiful life is and what life Kuya James Brian Tubaga, offered for all of us in Gaba-an Youth League and sa ating mga kabataan. Now, what is this picture? You don't know them. They are the politicians of Negros Oriental and Dumaguete. I added this picture because I ran for city councilor. I was invited to join the slate in 2013. Why is it important to my journey and as an inspiring leader for the aspiring? Because you remember, I was a Tocino vendor sa sidewalk. Yung papa ko po is also a pedicab driver. It was a very strong message. I joined the election not because I have money, I have the following of so many people, but because I felt it can be of help, of a strong message sa ating mga kabataan at sa ating mga mamamayan na pwede pong sumali in nation building ang kahit sino, kahit walang pera, kahit walang pinag-aralan, kahit sino ka pa, diba? Because I was there. I've been there, and my parents were there. And because of this, proud to say and humbled sa mga lahat ng experiences na nakuha natin, making me the youth champion of Negros Oriental. So sa mga makabagong bayani, you need to share yourself to others. Because even Super U needs help and support. You should show respect for the talents of others. In order for you to be an inspiring person to others, you need to respect yung mga talents na ibang tao. Alone, it will be a very big limitation, but together, it will be a very big opportunity. Allow me then to share to you some of the pictures, beautiful pictures of stories ng kabataan at ng mga youth development projects that we do, not only of provisions. What do I mean by that? Hindi po kami nagbibigay ng bahay or nagbibigay lang ng pagkain or nagbibigay lang ng mga gamit, but our advocacy is more on knowledge, sharing of experiences, and sharing happiness. Yun po ang na-realize ko. It should be fun and learning always. Because kung hindi masaya ang taong kaharap mo, how can he be inspired? Kaya we always believe in happiness and fun. It should always be coupled with learning. Sa harap ng lahat ng mga kabataan, sa lahat ng dako ng Pilipinas, naging instrumento po tayo. We've experienced a lot of happy moments na hindi ko po na-try sa buhay ko. And these are perks when you are inspiring others and when you come to volunteer. Ito po, sa Boracay po ito. I've tried so many other things in my life. Now, alala niyo po yung image kanina? Bakit ko pinakita rin yung mga pictures ng katulad ng mga happy moments? Because in order for us to be an inspiration, importante po yung ating image in terms of the choice of colors that we wear, the dress that we use, the accessories, the fit, the message that we are also espousing in terms of our hairstyle, our makeup, even our fit, diba? So very quickly, I'll just show you some pictures of, especially sa ating mga advisor, be very careful of what message you are sending to our learners. You need to use colors that are appropriate for us in what message we are to send to us. And of course, hindi tayo naging katatawanan, di ba? We need to also be credible and of course, competent in everything that we do. The choice of colors, the cut of our dresses, of our, yun, kita nyo gano'ng kaganda ng mga colors na yun, di ba? It's very credible when you use those colors in your skin tone, di ba? Dress according also to your body shapes. This is one, I'm just put this in passing so that you realize to check it yourselves later. Kailangan pala, importante pala sa maging inspirational person ang pagsusuot and the image that we bring in terms of our accessories. And even yung mga careful kayo sa mga t-shirts nyo, anong mga statement shirts ang you're bringing with you. Alright? So I'll put this in passing and look at these very beautiful pictures. Now, wow, it adds to the message to the person aspiring or looking up to you. Diba? Very credible. Very strong messages of who you can be, especially if you know how to bring your image. And grooming is very much important. The makeup, the nails, our shoes. One tip lang na para mabilisan, mga nails. Pag naka-4 kayo, if nakikita niyo po yung skin niyo, pag naka-4 kayo, that is a no-no. You need to wear socks that are long enough where your skin will not be exposed. And of course, for our advisors, do not use white-colored socks because we're not students anymore. We need to wear dark brown, dark black, or gray. Alright? So, at least mag-learn din natin mga SSG and SPG dito na, pag we become professionals, we need to wear darker socks. Okay? And, ultimately, it boils down to behavior. Our etiquette and manners are very much important. Our communication, non-verbal communication, and our body language is also important if we want to be an inspiration to others. And digital presence. Very sad to note that digital media now has become a sexual platform. Yung mga kabataan natin is looking at different aspects of ourselves. I need not read those words that we're seeing on screen now, but it's the reality of the focus sa ating mga kabataan ngayon. And it's become very objectified, very sexualized, and if you need to be careful yourselves, kasi po, you are the representation of the leader that you are. Whatever you post in social media, you need to think more than once if ano po yung words na ginamit niyo o anong picture yung ginamit niyo. Look at these very pictures, these two pictures. They are very young. But why are they wearing those kinds of clothes? It's Hollywood's mind setting that is changing our lives of today sa ating mga kabataan. This young woman is already obese in Hollywood. Very sad. And we know for a fact now that sexual orientation of people has also helped. I don't mean sexual orientation. It means, sexual engagements rather. There are 1 in 3 young people doing premarital sex now. It is very alarming already. I included this in some of the slides because I realized that without saying this one, reality po ng kabataan. Gusto po na nilang mag-engage sa sex. If gusto niyo pong maging leader, please find a way to talk to your peers of how you can probably educate yourself about sexual engagements. Kasi po, we are leaders ourselves. Alright? More pictures of our engagements. Kasama po ang ating mga artists and of course, actors and actresses in the Philippines. Gusto niyo po ba ng buhay na ganyan? It adds po sa ating image as an inspirasyon sa mga kabataan ngayon. Alam ko pong kilala niyo po mga ito. Nakatrabaho po namin to ni Kuya Serg. Nakatrabaho po namin to sa Newground Events and Gaba-an Youth League. Because we are sending a message. We're really sending a strong message that it is fun to volunteer. It is fun to inspire other people. It will always be an inspiring one. The stories that we bring to people as we are receiving mga accomplishments, as we go around to many places. Yan, ito po, I know, katabi ng Sagay ang Cadiz. This became viral when we were captured. Hindi po yan scripted. This was a captured moment in Cadiz, I think 3 years ago or 4 years ago. More pictures showing you of the Kuya Dennis that I'm 40 years old now, but it will really be a happy story to tell wherever I am, whoever I meet. Kasi po, I realized as I grew up na the best story will always be the happy story. I'm a father, a parent, a husband, 2 anak, isang asawa, syempre, an employee, a youth champion, founder, a leader, a writer. Because I can't dance, because I'm not the best speaker, host, leader. I am not Superman. But I realize when I am with you, when I am with others, when I am with Kuya Serg, when I'm with GYL, when I'm with Sir John Argel and Deped Sagay, I will be an effective inspiration to others kung ano man ang gagawin namin sa buhay para sa ibang tao. Because we are also inspired by that. Remember that you are blessed, be a blessing. Tagline we hold in gaba-an Youth League. It holds true in inspiration. You are blessed, be a blessing. It will always be going around. It will always be a cycle of inspiration and of blessings. Nation of Heroes is one of those testimonies. Kung hindi lang na pandemic ngayon, siguro dumating na ang Nation of Heroes in Sagay City. Kung hindi lang na pandemic ngayon, siguro pang-third na siguro na National Youth Formation Summit ang nagawa natin. But despite the pandemic, we are still continuing to advocate the Nation of Heroes approach, that everyone will contribute in making our young people being part of the Nation of Heroes. And for those na bago lang nakinig or nakakilala sa akin anong gaba-an Youth League, please get your Spotify or even YouTube. Search Inspirational, gaba-an Youth League, and listen to the song. Because that itself, as a song I've written for only 30 minutes, is already the Kuya Dennis that I am. The story that I'm telling you of who I am is the message of that song itself. And next week, Saturday, I'll be going around together with GYL to distribute and to award the Negros Young Heroes. I'm very proud to tell you po, kung hindi nyo kilala or hindi nyo alam, Mark Garcia and Honorable Jensen Ray Lamis Bangcolinos are part of the awardees of the Negros Young Heroes. These two young people are from Sagay City. Diba? Palakpakan po natin ang lahat ng kabataan at lahat ng mga young leaders that are here even before the pandemic and in the pandemic times, inspiring us always, mga taga Sagay City. And to end, let me go back that in your stage now of inspiring self, whatever age you have, you are SPG, SSG, or an advisor, or part of the division office, do not be afraid to start inspiring self. Once you've finished inspiring self, once you've accomplished that, you start inspiring others. And lastly, you need to do an inspiring legacy for everyone. So po si Kuya Dennis, I invite Kuya Serg once again on screen, and we thank you for this opportunity of making us part of your afternoon, and advance Merry Christmas. Kuya Serg, you have something to say?
That the same Kuya Dennis. Thank you as well to Deped Sagay for inviting us.
All right. So, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Much, Kuya Dennis and Kuya Serg Jhun, for equipping us dear how to be leaders despite the challenges of this pandemic. Nami-miss na po kayo namin sa Kuya Dennis. Kaming mga SSG at SPG advisor, na-miss ka po namin dito sa Division of Sagay City. Hope to see you soon po. Sana po magkakaroon na ng travel permit na wala ng pandemic. So makikita-kita po ulit tayo dito sa Sagay City.
Yes, thank you also for the both of you for realizing our own leadership skills. We hope that you'll never get tired of your advocacies in empowering the youth. Thank you so much po.
And for that, Kuya Dennis and Sir Jhun, let me present to you this plaque of recognition. First, allow me to read the citation of the plaque of recognition. Okay, Republic of the Philippines Department of Education, Region 6, Western Visayas Schools Divisions of Sagay City. Plaque of recognition is given to, in grateful recognition for devoting his time and sharing his wisdom as a resource speaker, during the Inspiring the Aspiring Student Leaders Embracing the New Normal with the topic Ideas for Continuing Leadership Amidst Pandemic, held on December 13, 2021 via Zoom platform and Facebook Live. Given this 30th day of December 2021, signed by our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Officer in Charge, Office of the Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Arlene G. Bermejo, CISO 6. So this plaque of recognition is given to Serg Jhun Calibat of Gaba-an Youth Lead Organization. Let us give him a virtual clap. And also,
Same
plaque of recognition is given to Ray Dennis B. Caballero as Gaba-an Youth Lead Organization. Thank you po. Thank you. Thank you po sa inyong oras. Okay, partner?
Yes, so without much ado, we will be entertained again by another song number to be given to us by the SPG advisor of Old Sagay Elementary School. Let's welcome Ma'am Brenda Espanyol.